Kelim Perek Hey, Mishnah Yud. Famous Mishnah, the famous Tanuri Shelachnoi. Chatochoy chulyois v'nosan chol ben chulya l'chulya. You've got your oven and you cut it vertically into sections. Each section being less than 4 tefachim, because if an individual section is 4 tefachim, then of course that section constitutes a tanur in its own right. So here you cut it horizontally, and each section is less than 4 tefachim. Now, without the complication of an osan chol ben chulya l'chulya, we said before Mishnah Ches that if you do cut an oven into sections, you can reconstitute it as an oven by putting on a new miruach and having a new hesek. That's fine. This case, after you've cut it and broken it, then v'nosan chol ben chulya l'chulya, you then, in order to facilitate it to stick together, you didn't just leave the cut sections one on top of the other, you put a layer of sand between each section. And then you did your miruach followed by your hesek, and still Rabbi Eliezer says he's metahir. You cannot reconstitute an oven in that way. The Chachamim Metamim, they say it's reconstituted. Although you've broken it, your new miruach and your new hesek makes it into a new oven. Zeu tanura shalachnoi. Let's explain. The simple way of learning this machlokes, this is the way the Ramban learns, is that although they agree that had you just been chotech l'chulyas and then did a miruach and a hesek, you can reconstitute a new tanur, because you put chol ben chulya l'chulya, it's now not mischaber yofe. It doesn't stick as well as had you not put the chol there. And because it's not mischaber yofe, Rabbi Eliezer says you cannot make a new oven by having a new miruach and hesek. The Chazon Ish explains Pshat in Rabbi Eliezer that Rabbi Eliezer says that the tanur is tomei because it's a kli cheres. However, this tanur is made up of sections of cheres and sections and little bits of choil, and choil is not cheres, and therefore because your oven is made out of the important parts are made out of choil, you cannot therefore say this is a tanur shel cheres, because what's keeping it all together is choil, which is not cheres. And the Chachamim say, look at the whole thing as a whole. True, there are bits of choil, but it is overall a tanur shel cheres, albeit it's stuck together with choil. Therefore, a new miruach and a new hesek are able to remake a new oven. This is the famous tanura shalachnoi, and this is, you probably know, this is a sugya in Gemara in Bava Metzia, Daf Nutes on the base, and this was the basis of the famous machlokas between Rabbi Eliezer and the Chachamim, where Rabbi Eliezer said Tor and the Chachamim said Tomei, and they got locked into a very fierce debate in the Beis Medrash, backwards and forwards, each one trying to disprove the other. And that's the word achnoi is used. Achnoi is a snake, just like a snake coils on itself, round and round and round, and ends up putting its tail in its mouth and locks itself in. Same here, these Tanoim argued with it to such ferocity that they actually locked themselves into this circle, and each one was trying to destroy the other one's rayas. And eventually Rabbi Eliezer used nisim and proofs. He made the walls of the Beis Medrash fall, he made trees uproot, he made springs of water stop, until a Baskol came out and said Alocha Rabbi Eliezer, and yet the Chachamim said Torah lo v'shamayim hi. We don't listen to a Baskol when it comes to deciding halacha. We decide halacha according to the way we see fit, and we see fit to say that this is tomei, it is an oven. And a Baskol came out after the Chachamim went against the Baskol. A famous Baskol came out and it's chuni bonan, it's chuni. My sons have beaten me. They've actually won the debate because they are right. Torah leva shamayimi. We don't listen to a Baskol. And Rabbi Eliezer still stuck to his guns. He stuck to his principles that the oven is Torah, and they put Rabbi Eliezer in Chayrim after this. That's the Gemara in Bava Metzia, Nuntes on the base. The Mishnah carries on Yoros who Arabian, the cauldrons, the pots of the Arabs. The way it's done it wasn't a real pot. You dig a pit into the ground, v'toch betit, and inside this pit you put a layer of mud. In other words, you're really forming your kli cheres stuck to the inside of a pit, and you heat it up in the normal way. You do a hesek. So now all we have tit. Tit is the basis of cheres. You can turn tit into cheres by heating it, and that's what it's done. The only difference here is the oven is built inside the pit. It says the Mishnah, Im yochel atiach lamad b'fnei atzmoi. If, for instance, if you were to take away the pit, the cylinder of tit, which has now been heated into cheres, would be able to stand by itself, it's tomei. This constitutes a kli cheres, despite the fact it's stuck in the ground. It's tomei. If you were to hang a sheretz in it, it's mekabel tuma. Vimlav, if the only way the tanur stays standing is because it's stuck to the ground, then it's no more. It's not a kli. It's not a kli in its own right. It's no more than earth, which has a maricha of tit, but it's not a kli b'fnei atzmai. And this is called the tanura shel ben dinoi. And Baal Tanura tells us again that the word ben dinoi is also used the same way as achnoi used as a simon of the fierce debate and the dinim halachas that the Chachamim used to try and settle this matter. So it's called tanura shel ben dinoi.